one thing about forgiveness does not mean that I forgive you and I'm going to keep you in my life, or I'm going to bring you back into my life and we're going to be buddies and we're going to talk all the time and we're going to be best of friends. I'm not saying that. I'm a firm believer in I can forgive someone and keep you where you are. You stay over there, we never have to talk ever again in my life. What's up, YouTube? I just got done doing my cardio on this good Saturday morning. I was running on the treadmill and something really resonated with me, and I felt that I need to make this video as soon as I got out of the gym. And what resonated with me is the power of forgiveness. A lot of times in life, we are holding on to situations or holding on to hurt or holding on to pain because in our head, we had an expectation of how the situation should have happened. We had an expectation of how a person should have done this, that, and the third, no matter who that person may be, relative, friend, spouse, whomever. We had an expectation of how that person should have handled you or handled the situation. And because of that, it has caused you hurt, pain, heartache, or whatever. Now, before I go down that rabbit hole of forgiveness, I'm going to say this also. While there are some people who do need to learn to forgive or find a way to forgive, there are also some people who are a lot more resilient than they realize. And in them being a lot more resilient than they realize, deep down, they truly don't even have an issue with whatever situation that happened. They're only having a situation with it because either they've seen someone having an issue with it, whether it's TV or just someone in their circle of life having an issue with it, or somebody else is telling you to have an issue with it. But in all honesty, you're a lot more resilient than you realize, and you really don't have the drive or the will deep down to have an issue with it, but you just have an issue with it because, again, you're told to have an issue with it. If that is you, do the proper steps within yourself or self-evaluations or whatever to figure it out, to let it go. And sometimes with you letting it go, you don't even need a forgiveness. You are a lot more resilient and it doesn't really bother you like that. And you can move on with your life. But for the ones who do need forgiveness, I really push you all to learn to forgive. And I'm gonna say this, but I know that we've heard this many times before, that forgiveness is for you. Holding on to a situation because, of course, like I said, you had an expectation of how it should have happened. Holding on to that situation will eat you up like cancer. And anybody that has been around someone who's had cancer or work in chemistry, and you know what cancer does. Cancer eats away at its host. Cancer can't live without living inside a living host. But it eats away at its host until the host passes away or, succumbs to whatever cancerous cells are living in that person's body. And of course, I'm not saying that you're going to pass away. However, it eats away at you where before you know it, you're going through different depressions. Nothing else in your life is going the way you wanted it to go. And it's all because this root cause of you holding on to something that you should have forgave a long time ago. And first, what you have to do is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself because a lot of times we hold on to situations because we feel that we allow something to happen. But forgive yourself. Forgive the person. Forgiving that person, not necessarily because whatever happened was okay, but because it happened. Forgive that person. And sometimes it takes time. I'm not saying that you can, if something happened last night or something happened last week, I'm not saying that you're going to just be able to forgive them right away, but with time, forgive them. We all have to go through our processes of life and learn to forgive. So forgive yourself, forgive that person. And one thing about forgiveness does not mean that I forgive you and I'm going to keep you in my life, or I'm going to bring you back into my life and we're going to be buddy buddies and we're going to talk all the time and we're going to be best of friends. I'm not saying that. I'm a firm believer in I can forgive someone and keep you where you are. You stay over there, we never have to talk ever again in my life, but I forgive you. That happens sometimes, and sometimes it's best to do that where you forgive them, but you leave them where they are. And then other times, depending on the relationship or who the person is in your life, you forgive them and you learn to keep them in your life. Now, in keeping them in your life, if you're going to truly forgive, do the work within yourself so that 2 weeks down the road, 5 months down the road, a year down the road, you're not going back to bring up this situation because, again, you have forgiven them. All right? Do the work within yourself to do the work within yourself to go from being the victim to the victor, and be I'm sorry. Do the work within yourself to go from being the victim to the victor, being victorious over the situation. I promise you that it will help you out and it will make you feel a lot better about life. A lot of times in life, and I use this analogy a lot of times when I'm talking to people or trying to encourage people, if our life is a yardstick, and each situation in our life is an inch of that yardstick, an inch. Every situation, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, someone passing away, getting married, having a child, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, every inch of that yardstick is a situation in your life. Hurt, financial problems. If you minimize your life down to that 1 inch, you minimize your life down to that 1 inch and put all that energy in that 1 inch, it's like you're discrediting any of the other inches before that and any other inches behind that. And of course, you've had some great inches before and you have some great inches to come, but because you are so focused on that 1 inch, you can't get to what's ahead of you, or you can't even think about the good memories of the inches that you've had before this situation. You have to stop minimizing your life down to that 1 inch, realizing that you have many inches that you've lived, that you've surpassed and you've overcame. And you got more inches to come. All right. So stop minimizing your life down to that one situation when you got all these other situations that's going to come up, in the future, and you've gotten past the situation that you've passed. All right. Hope that helps you all. Forgive, love. Also, I'm going to say this. Now, once you do forgive, I challenge you, again, like I said, to become victorious. But with that, make sure that you stay out of that space of being a victim. Sometimes, for some people, you get a sense of comfort in telling the story of something that you've been through. And, but when you do that, don't do it from a space of being a victim. Do it from a space of you trying to help someone else or encourage someone else. That if you've been through it and you've surpassed the situation or overcome a situation, they can do it also. Don't do it in a mindset that you're telling the story and you re-victimizing yourself, and then you want this sense of sympathy from the others or empathy from the others or whatever it is from the others. Do it from a place that you were victorious and you've overcome the situation, and do it so that they know that they can get through their situations also. That's another situation that's another thing that I see with people whenever they tell a story about something. You can tell if they're speaking from a place of being a victim or they're being victorious, where they've overcome the situation and now they're in a better headspace, or they've used this situation to build a foundation to be a better person, to be better than who they was before. I hope that makes sense to you all. I was really thinking about that while I was running today, about the power of forgiveness, and how important it is to forgive, and in forgiving, move past it and stop living in that headspace. Enjoy y'all day. I got to run some errands. I got to do some things, and please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out.
Make no games. I just wanna call, see